In Louisiana, a kidnapping in Baton Rouge leads to a police chase spanning several parishes. In Texas, a serial killer who preyed upon elderly women is killed by his cellmate. And we have an update and a new arrest in a story we brought you out of Las Vegas involving a cyclist that was killed. These stories and more coming at you today, Monday, September 25th on Real Life Real Crime Daily. And I'm Jim Chapman.
I'm Bayou Brandi.
And I'm Mike Agovino. Welcome back, Bayou Brandi.
Thank you for having me.
For the second show in a row.
Absolutely. And I get so much more room when she's here because Woody takes up half this table with all of his crap. So, I mean, you know.
It's basically just Woody.
His cowboy hat, his elixirs. You know, he's got to put the Grecian in his hair during the show.
Right. His energy drinks.
They
take up half the table
all
for
that
sure.
Sort of stuff.
That's right. Well, before we kick off today, we do want to shout out Louisiana Pet Crematory and Parish Forensics. And you know, I know y'all seen the posts that we've put on Facebook and everything, or that I put on there, but just great people over there. Took care of Happy, our beloved family dog, for 13 plus years. And so I posted pictures. We did get some of the memorial type stuff that they offer. And I posted pictures on the Facebook page. So please go check that out.
Did you get an urn or did you get something?
Did get an urn. Okay. Well, it's a box.
Oh, you got the box.
The wooden box.
Yeah. No, I like that a lot.
Yeah. Got that. And also got a deal where they press the footprints and in the nose into a thing. And it was.
It's amazing how
very
often,
fitting tribute.
You know, because we lost one of our dogs in January that we had for 15 plus years, and he's not in a box. It's an urn, but it's amazing how often I'll look at it and I'll think of a particular story and a particular day, and you know, thanks to having iPhones now for more than 10 years. You're able to quickly go back in your album of the dog and find pictures that match that day. And you know, whenever I need a good cry, it's a convenient way to do that and think of my guy Deuce. But look, let's face it. There's the pet crematory, but there's also the fact that every one of us, at some point,
the only thing in life that's guaranteed is death.
Is going to die
in taxes.
I mean, you can choose not to pay your taxes.
Yes,
you can't choose to not die.
That's a good point.
That would be very true.
That is a good point.
And it's good to know that you're in good hands when you do. And so we like these people a lot. We respect what they've done with their business. They've treated us really, really well. Yes. Every one of our listeners that has used their services has come back raving about the experience. And you know, when you work with people in this kind of relationship for a while, you get to know people, and these are good people, folks. So when circumstances in life call for you to need the kind of services they provide, whether you need an independent autopsy, you've just lost a pet, or a family member, they're the folks to go to. And right under that big American flag in Broussard, Louisiana. Mm-hmm. And so lapetcrematory.com, louisianafuneralservices.com, parishforensics.com. They're our friends, and please use them if you need to.
And Jim, you said they gave you an impression of their nose?
Yeah, and paw print.
So I am the crazy dog mom, and all of my babies have been cremated, and I really lean into the paw print. I walk by sometimes and I find myself touching it, and one of them even has like their hair left in it, but I've never had a nose done. Yeah. I've never even heard of that. That's so special. I will use them next time.
It's awesome. Yeah, they're great people, and very, you know, it's important during that time when you're going through that you have people that are calming, and they are. Awesome. They're just pros.
And you know what they say?
What do they say?
Rest easy.
I love that.
Yep, that's right. So check them out, and we're going to get into some crime time. And, you know, we're going to start right here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana area, and we're going to tell you about what began as a possible kidnapping that led to a pursuit by deputies in one parish before ending in a crash in another parish. Around 5 a.m. on September 19th, the West Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office received a call regarding a possible kidnapping of a woman. West Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office reported that the call involved a woman being held against her will and subjected to abuse by a male. They initiated a pursuit of the SUV driven by the man identified as a Nissan Rogue. When they found the SUV, the suspect attempted to ram the sheriff unit. The suspect refused to stop for the deputies. The suspect proceeded to drive over the Mississippi River Bridge eastbound into East Baton Rouge Parish, where Baton Rouge police officers were requested to assist. BRPD was informed that the West Baton Rouge deputies were pursuing a possible kidnapping victim, and the suspect was headed towards Baton Rouge. The suspect then exited onto what's known as Essen Lane in Baton Rouge, major thoroughfare, before navigating surface streets and ultimately ending up on Plaza Americana Drive, which y'all is a business, almost like a business park of Baton Rouge. After leading deputies on a pursuit, the suspect then crashed that SUV in front of a hotel. Investigators say the woman he kidnapped was still in the vehicle. The driver has been identified as Kendrick Smith, 37, of Baton Rouge. Smith has since been arrested and taken to the hospital for evaluation. Meanwhile, the female victim is safe and receiving medical attention. BRPD will charge him as a fugitive for West Baton Rouge Parish and may add any additional charges they deem necessary. Smith will face charges of second-degree kidnapping, aggravated assault, aggravated flight, resisting an officer, and possession of Schedule II narcotics. And we do want to credit Kieran Chawla, Unfiltered with Kieran, for bringing us this story. But crazy kidnapping
that could have
situation.
Ended so differently.
Absolutely. She is very fortunate.
Yeah. And, you know, we report on this a lot, but these chases that, anytime there's a police chase, it's life or death situation already. When someone's running, they're desperate and they're not exactly stopping for red lights and obeying speed limits, right? So we've reported on them where there's been some deaths, tragic deaths of innocent victims.
Yeah, and that's why so many agencies are revisiting their pursuit policy, because you have to balance risk versus reward and what's the risk to the public safety.
Yeah, I actually watched not a dash cam video, but a
body cam.
Thank you, body cam video the other day, and the guy was chasing the police officer was chasing a fugitive, and the guy was on a motorcycle, and they're going through down all these streets, and that guy's flying. The police officer's going about 100, trying to catch this guy, and the guy over the CB basically said, "Hey man, you need to just back off and let this guy go, and let's catch him another day. Somebody's going to get hurt."
And most agencies have policies, and you don't want the public to find out that policy, because if they do find out, they will know what can be pursued and what can't, and they might push the limits. But the other thing I think that deserves respect about this story is the amount of collaboration. Like, you have very little time behind the scenes to collaborate when you know that you're crossing over city or parish lines, and to get two agencies to work together like that, have available officers, have them in the right place, and be willing to work with that originating agency, that takes a lot of work behind the scenes in a very short amount of time. So anytime I hear two cities or two counties or parishes working together, I think of the work the dispatcher had to do behind the scenes to communicate that in a very short amount of time. So
very good point.
Kudos to them.
Yeah, it's so much harder in a situation like that in cities like these. Like in LA, you literally are not going to get away because there's so much air support.
Yeah.
Because of all the copters, that the cops don't even have to follow closely. They're behind at a slower speed. The choppers are primarily in pursuit when they think they've got somebody in an area where it's safe to go in or throw down a spike strip or whatever. But they become events on the news. I mean, they'll just straight cover a car chase for the Bronco chase, and OJ is probably the longest one ever. But tons of them, at least 5-10 times a year, there's a major 20-30 minute car chase covered by all the news channels in LA.
Yeah, but kudos to them, and I'm glad that kidnapping victim got away.
For sure, me too.
All right, so back to Texas, my home state. A serial killer accused of killing 22 older women is slain by cellmate while serving a life sentence.
22?
22.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
A Texas prisoner accused of killing 22 older women over 2 years, preying on them so he could steal their jewelry and other valuables, was slain Tuesday by his cellmate while serving a life sentence. I think that's the ultimate prison justice. Yeah.
22, and only all those crimes took place in only a 2-year span.
Only a 2-year span, yeah. Billy? Ago. Come on. Chamirmir. I can't say that with a straight face.
Chamirmir.
Billy Chamirmir, 50 years old, who was convicted last year in the slayings of 2 women, was found dead in his cell at a prison in rural East Texas. He was killed by his cellmate, who was also serving a prison sentence for murder. Time out. I have a question. Is that normal?
No.
2 convicted murderers to be sharing a cell, right?
It's not normal for a serial killer with a profile like 22 murders, even if he's not charged with all those murders. That guy was very high profile. It is not normal for him to be anywhere but segregation by himself, period.
So I'm interrupting the story here, but I know recently it was on the news that the Texas prisons were on lockdown because of the amount of murders that had happened in it. Do you think maybe they were put in a cell because of a lockdown issue or
that guy was, and I don't feel sorry for him. Let me preface it with this, but it's very strange that he was in a cell with another person.
Or maybe they did it so he would get prison justice. Just kidding. Chamirmir's death comes about 2 weeks after, here we go, Texas 100 prisons were placed on a rare statewide lockdown because of a rise in the number of killings. They are not releasing the name of the cellmate, how he was killed, or what may have led to the slaying. So they're keeping it pretty under wraps. All we know is that he was killed. Family members of those he was accused of killing expressed shock and relief at the news. I think that keyword here is accused of killing because Mike actually and I were talking about this before we started recording, and he informed me that although he is accused of killing 22, he has actually only been convicted of 2. So he's not going to go down.
Also typical.
He was only tried.
Right.
He was only tried.
Yeah. Right.
Indicted on 2.
So do you think he'll still go down in the record books as a serial killer with 22 victims? Because that has to put him somewhere at the top of the list. Or is he not going to get, I hate to say credit for those on paper, but because he wasn't convicted.
I don't think he will.
22 is a shit ton of people. One of the family members was quoted as saying, "My mother died in fear. This man did not have a peaceful passing. There's some relief in feeling that he didn't get off easy." That's from Shannon Dion, whose 92-year-old mother, Doris Gleason, was among his victims. Time after time, the deaths in Dallas and nearby cities were initially determined to be from natural causes because he was purposefully choosing older victims, even as family members were raising alarms about missing jewelry coinciding with their death. Chamirmir was caught after a 91-year-old woman survived a 2018 attack and told police that a man had forced his way into her apartment at an independent living community for seniors, tried to smother her with a pillow, and took her jewelry. Police later found him in a parking lot of his apartment complex holding jewelry and cash, having just thrown away a large red jewelry box. Documents in the jewelry box led them to the home of Lou Harris, 81, who was dead in her bedroom. After his arrest, police across the area re-examined deaths, and the charges against him grew. Many of the victims' children have said that they were left perplexed by the death at the time because although their loved ones were older, they were still very active and healthy. So the irony that he was literally caught red-handed, and thank God that jewelry box he had just thrown away had personal documents in it, which I think is kind of a time, like a telling of the victim's age. I don't think anymore younger women are not storing documents in their jewelry box, but I do because my grandma did, and now I have to get a better home alarm security system because I just told everybody that.
Yeah, you did.
But so I thought that was interesting. That victim.
Yeah, we're not for that.
Yeah, that victim would have lied there. No one had reported her yet at the time that they found him red-handed.
Right, and I do want to say on the number of killings that. And I've done some research into this case. They're pretty sure that he killed all 22 of those people. The reason that they're not, they never tried him for 22 is the expense. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
He was already in jail for the rest of his life. There was no point in spending millions and millions of dollars to try him for all these cases if the families were okay with that. And obviously, most of these families probably said, he's already in jail for the rest of his life. You don't need to charge him.
I think there has to be more. I have a hard time believing he went from killing 0 people to killing 11 people a year. Anyways, I digress.
No, generally doesn't happen like
Right.
that, right? And he was old, right? How old was he?
I don't think he was old. 50.
Well, meaning old enough to have to think that he just got the urge at age 45 or something.
You're probably right. Yeah, I'm sure there's more bodies that hadn't even tied him to, but he got someone that's that active over a 2-year time span.
Right.
Yeah, it's one a month.
Yeah, that's someone who's got a taste for blood. He never would have stopped. Never.
Okay, so we're going to go back to Vegas for an update on a horrible story we told you about the other day. When we told the story originally, there hadn't been the arrest of the second individual involved in this. And the thing that makes, I think, this story so different from so many others is you have the actual killer taking the video of the killing, and then somehow that video getting out and going viral. And they think what happened is that this guy didn't, because it's not from him posting it on one of his social accounts, it's him sharing it with a friend or two, and the friends then posting it and it going viral. But without this video, this was a cycling accident. That's how it was originally recorded by Vegas PD until the video came out, and the video leaves nothing to guess. I mean, it is very clear these two are in this car and they are celebrating the fact that they are right behind the cyclist and they are about to take him out. And they literally are celebrating on the video as they kill the guy who turns out to be a retired law enforcement, and I mean, it's just a tragic case. So the second juvenile suspect has been arrested in the Vegas hit and run death of former police officer who was intentionally mowed down while riding his bicycle on Tuesday. Both teenage suspects were charged with murder. This all happened on August 14th, by the way, which is a long time ago. And the reason it's a long time ago is because it took a while for this video to come out. So the original case was looked at as a cycling accident, right? Both their names and ages have not been released, obviously, because of their age. The bicyclist, how come I don't know his first name? I think it's Andreas, but I didn't. Oh, there it is. Boom, Jim. The bicyclist, Andreas Probst, age 64, was on his morning bike ride when a teenager struck him at about 6:04 a.m. on the North Tenya Way, which is near West Centennial Parkway in Vegas. One suspect was arrested soon after the incident. The suspect's video recording, as I said, is really what showed what happened in this thing, and that's how they got to the second guy. And in case you missed it the other day, what is on the video, you may not want to watch the video. It's pretty darn graphic, but in the video, the driver asks, "Ready?" as the giggling passenger is recording on his iPhone. And he says, yeah, hit his ass, he tells the driver, who then veers the car directly behind Probst, who's wearing a red shirt and shorts as he pedals. And the passenger turns, points his iPhone out the window, and records as Probst is upended and rolls over the roof of the car. And they continue to film. He continues to film until Probst's body finally comes to a stop on the side of the road. And then the guy says, "Damn, that N-word got knocked out." That's the passenger. And then, "Oh shit, we need to get out of here." And so there's nothing left to guess here. This is a hit. It's a brutal murder, and just another one of these signs we've been talking about just culturally the kind of violence that's going on now is, and so often it's 17, 16, 15, 14-year-olds involved in these things.
I had not heard about this one. Question: are they going to enhance the charges because he used the racial slur? Is that considered a hate crime?
Was it?
He was
black?
He was white. So the two in the car were black. The cyclist, the former cop, was white,
They just used that word?
Yeah, just use that word.
Man. Have they drawn any connection? Was this were these juveniles that this officer had arrested, or is just completely random?
Completely random.
Oh, my God. And you know what I find interesting is I bet everyone sitting at this table, we were raised not to record yourself doing things. Don't put things in writing that you would later want to deny, because we didn't grow up with instantaneous connection and cell phones all the time. But it baffles me that I'm glad that these kids recorded this, or they likely would have gotten away with it. But the things that kids do and incriminate and record themselves doing baffles me.
100%.
Think that this was something they wanted to celebrate and capture. It's
the respect for life is.
And then I also have questions about the friends that they sent it to. I have some really close friends, but I don't think that they would enjoy watching me kill someone. So who is he texting this to? I'm imagining he texted it to someone, and maybe that person.
Maybe this is they're part of a gang. Look, a lot of the stuff that we're hearing about from this age group, some of them end up being gang initiation things. We had a murder in Fort Worth a couple weeks ago that was a gang initiation.
I have a completely unfounded theory, no evidence to support this at all, just my personal theory, that the shootings in New Orleans East are gang initiation related on the Highway 10 shootings.
That's a thought.
Yeah. Anyways, that's awful.
Well, and just in general, older gangbangers getting the younger ones to commit crimes makes strategic sense because they're going to get treated as juveniles. And if it's not a super violent crime, they're, depending on what city it's going on in, they're going to get released, or at least they're going to get very light sentences as opposed to what might happen to a 22, 25, et cetera. So I think we're seeing a major uptick in crimes being committed by teenagers. We had one carjacker in DC 2 weeks ago that we did a story on the number of carjackings this kid, 16-year-old, did in a 24-hour period would just blow you. You have to give him credit for working hard. Seriously, it was, I don't know the number. It was a double-digit number.
Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts to spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdown scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday host and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids, to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. Hey, y'all, changing my wardrobe from summer to fall, it's never easy. Luckily, Quince offers timeless and high-quality items I adore. Ensure my wardrobe stays fresh and I don't blow my budget. And there's nothing easier than going to Quince and choosing these high-quality items, like cashmere sweaters from $50, pants for every occasion, washable silk tops, and so much more. The best part? All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes, and I love that. I got the stainless steel Link Apple Watch band for $59.90. It's heavy duty, it's awesome, and it's like $100 less than I could find anywhere else. And I also got a 100% organic cotton fisherman quarter zip up sweater. The color is alabaster. Man, I can't wait to wear that this fall. And Cindy got the Mongolian cashmere boat neck sweater in heather gray. And I'm telling you, these are classic pieces at a fraction of the price. Make switching seasons a breeze with Quince's high-quality closet essentials. Go to quince.com/RLRC for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/RLRC to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/RLRC. You'll thank me later.
All right. We're, either one of y'all, I know you're a Patriots fan. We know you're a Giants fan. No Chicago Bear fans.
No, there aren't, period, anymore.
I don't know. Dude, listen,
Most of them have given up.
New Year's Eve.
I was an 85 Chicago Bear fan.
I've been to one game at Soldier Field, and it was New Year's Eve. It was supposed to be Brett Favre's. It was supposed to be Brett Favre's first retirement. And I had a player's ticket. My back was against the concrete wall on the tall side of Soldier Field. The wind coming off the lake was so cold. And you know what? The vendors there would not even sell to me because I was packed out from head to toe. And the vendors would not sell to me. And when I had to walk my happy ass downstairs to get a beer, they were throwing hot dogs at me. Bears fans were. You know how much those hot dogs are?
A lot.
Yeah, Bears fans are ruthless.
It's gold.
Ruthless.
All right. Well, the story I'm going to tell you about is not even a Chicago Bear, but he lived in Chicago, and he was an NFL football player for the Patriots, actually, at one point. The Colts, I think he played for the Jaguars. The Bills, I think he played for at one point. So we're going to tell you about Sergio Brown. And former NFL player Sergio Brown is missing after his mother died from injuries related to an assault, and her body was found near a creek behind her suburban Chicago home. Authorities discovered the body of 73-year-old Myrtle Brown on Saturday after relatives alerted police they had been unable to find or contact her or her son, who is a high-profile football player. The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office determined Myrtle Brown died from injuries related to an assault, and the manner of death was ruled as a homicide. Police take cordoned off a residential street in Maywood, which is about 15 miles west of the city of Chicago, as police responded. Myrtle was an outstanding woman, and I hope she's in the right place. This from her next door neighbor. I would have never expected that in a million years. Sergio Brown, 35, played for Notre Dame before signing with the New England Patriots as an undrafted free agent in 2010. He played 7 seasons in the NFL as a member of the Patriots, Colts, Jaguars, and Bills, and he is missing right now. I don't know if they're thinking he's involved in the death or if he may be deceased himself, but kind of a major situation unfolding in Chicago.
Yeah,
my mind went straight to assuming he was a suspect.
Yeah, me too.
But he could be a certainly second victim. Possible, but you don't want to. Of course, you never want to think that he could be a victim. He could be. This could be a drug thing going bad, and
could be. We'll
so
see.
I don't want to assume anything, but it sure doesn't look good either way for him that he's missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, this one comes to us out of Houston. A Houston ex-dentist is sentenced for surgery that damaged a 4-year-old's brain. Nathaniel Jefferson, an ex-Houston dentist, was convicted Wednesday of recklessly causing serious bodily injury to a child by omission following a botched surgery that left the sweet 4-year-old with permanent brain damage. She's been sentenced. I was so hopeful until I read the next line. She received 5 years probation.
Yep.
Thursday evening, she was sentenced to 5 years probation for the 2016 procedure of the then 4-year-old Nevaeh Hall. Jefferson's dental license has been revoked, and she was later found liable for $95 million, which, of course, the family will probably never see because that exceeded the limits of liability insurance. The case stems from a January 2016 surgery in which Jefferson performed on the then 4-year-old Nevaeh Hall that kept her anesthetized for almost an entire day.
Oh, God.
While her blood oxygen levels tanked, leading to irreversible brain damage. Y'all, you cannot make this stuff up. This is Nevaeh, who is now 11 years old, started having seizures around 11:15 in the morning while under anesthesia. She waited 5 hours, the ex-dentist, Bethaniel Jefferson, she waited 5 hours before she called 911. She first called a pastor and a pharmacist before she called 911.
Yeah, she knew she was in trouble.
Okay, so usually I've actually had, I don't know what that procedure was, but I've had a procedure where I had to be anesthetized with a dentist, but it's a separate anesthesiologist that comes in.
Same with me. I had to pay a separate.
Exactly. So she's not an anesthesiologist; she's a dentist.
Right.
Yeah, but there are some dentists that can do both.
And I would
you
hope
can get licensed to do both.
I would
My
hope
dentist
if there
does
was
both.
another dentist on scene, that person's name would be included in this article. I assumed that she was a one-woman show that day. It says that she was found that she overused sedative drugs and physical restraints on the pediatric patient. Now, I'm not familiar with pediatric dentistry, but I don't know if physical restraints is common practice, but I don't know.
I would think that may be more common than you think.
You think
Just,
so?
Yeah.
Well, you're operating on teeth, and I mean, these
true.
kids could just grab something and really mess things up. So that may be more common.
Sweet Nevaeh is now 11 years old, and the surgery has left her unable to speak, walk, or eat on her own.
Awful.
And the ex-dentist got probation.
I don't understand that.
Yep. Let me tell you, if I was Nevaeh's mama,
And how could you look? I had one that was, I don't know. I'm thinking that maybe it went like 8 hours, and when I got out of it, I had no feeling in the end of my right foot. So the toes of my foot were completely numb, and still to this day they are mostly numb. I get just pins and needles in those toes from being out that long, which was 8 hours. They had my foot raised in a position that it shouldn't have been in, and so blood flow was really cut off that entire time. I mean, that is that's murder, basically. I mean, how she got a hand slap on that.
I am disgusted with that sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't imagine what Nevaeh's family feels like. Or Nevaeh.
Horrible.
Wow. Well, on the topic of doing cruel shit to kids, let's go to Portland, Oregon, where a mom, I don't know how this is possible, gets 30 days for waterboarding a baby and putting him in a freezer.
What?
So the mother was sentenced to 30 days in jail after Oregon prosecutors say she waterboarded her baby and put him in the freezer during an incident as a test to see if the father cared. Sharday McDonald, age 30, pleaded guilty to charges of criminal mistreatment, ID theft, and tampering with a witness after police showed up at her Gresham, Oregon apartment on October 28th to perform a welfare check. And they were performing the welfare check because someone reported the mother putting the baby in the freezer. When the police got there, the police officer was outside McDonald's apartment. The officer could hear her yelling at Kendrick Neal, who was the father of the child. She said, quote, "I'm about to show you real quick. You don't want him? Let me show you about this little effing baby. I don't effing give F about." A probable cause affidavit is where that was lifted from. According to the police, the woman was sentenced to 30 days in jail on Tuesday. Records from the Multnomah County Detention Center indicate that McDonald will be released on October 6th. She pleaded guilty to the charges back on July 28th. When officers opened the door, she was sitting there holding the child in a wrapped blanket. She allegedly explained to the officers that she wasn't trying to harm, hurt, or kill the son by drowning him or putting him in the freezer. She was just trying to get the boyfriend's attention. And, there are pictures of McDonald. This is her waterboarding. How the hell
you can't see that.
How the hell does she? So how that dentist gets 5 months and how she gets 30 days.
That's disgusting. That's not fair. There are.
No idea.
I can't.
We're going to lighten that up. We're going to lighten that up because we're giving you two hard stories. And we're going to tell you about some thefts that were going on and committed by a bear and a cub.
I love bears.
And where they stole from.
This cocaine bear?
No cocaine. But hungry bears in search of a tasty treat in Alaska are gaining a lot of attention nationwide after they raided the back of a Krispy Kreme delivery van that was parked outside an express store on a U.S. military base. Last week, Candace Sargent, the general manager at the Krispy Kreme store in Alaska, got an unexpected call from one of her delivery drivers who was reporting that a bear and her cub were inside the back of his delivery van.
I mean, a mama's got to feed her babies.
Yeah, and let me tell you, Sargent responded with, "I didn't believe it." The delivery driver had been making a regular delivery to a store on the military base in Anchorage when he came to find the bears inside of that van. When the drivers left the van unattended, he hadn't realized that the two bears were regulars outside of that store. And earlier that day, they had been on the prowl for something to eat. She was happy because she had been looking for garbage, the manager of the store, the base said, talking about the mama bear. Hearing noises coming from inside the vehicle, it did not take Donato long to figure out what was going on inside that van. I said he's in the van, and then the little cub followed and went inside the van, and they just started eating donuts. Upon discovering the animals, he snapped a few photos of the bear raiding the box of donuts, and we'll post those online for you. You could hear them breaking open packages. We were trying to beat on the van, but they just kept eating all the donuts. We actually inventoried it, and they ate 20 packages of the donut holes and 6 packages of the 3-pack chocolate donuts.
See, they have good taste because donut holes are the best part of donuts.
Oh, yeah. And chocolate donuts ain't too shabby. Eventually, after the staff at the military base let off sirens, the bears left the van and took off into the woods. The team at Krispy Kreme learned a lesson from the incident. We'll definitely be learning to slide up our ramp and close the doors to ensure the bears don't get back in there again. So
I'm surprised the bears didn't drive off in that thing.
Yeah. And let me tell you, as cute as they're cute as a button. You walk up on a bear when it's eating,
yep,
it will tear you up.
Yep.
Yeah, personally, I'm not a fan of walking up on a bear doing anything.
Yeah, no, but they are. Society has made these cute little precious animals, kind of like hippos and all that. They're all cute. Man, they will tear you up. Go mess with a hippo.
Yep.
Snap.
Again,
off with the head.
California, bears are a real thing. And a real thing, like in L.A., you wouldn't think bears are a real thing. Bears are a real thing in L.A. They come right out of that Angeles forest in towns like, that are on the east side of LA near the Rose Bowl area and up. They get them all the time. They're in the streets going through their trash, jumping in their swimming pools, eating anything that they can eat, and they ain't scared of you.
Nope. Keeping with the animal trend, I love animal stories. There was a lemur on the loose, and there is a video proof of police chasing the escaped critter in Missouri, and I cannot wait. to see this
you're gonna
video.
love
A lemur in Missouri.
Lemur in Missouri being chased
I don't think
by
they're
police
indigenous.
officers. We're going to get
They're
there.
definitely not indigenous. I think you're right.
So I'm betting that when you are a police officer in Missouri and you go to work that morning, you don't think that you are going to be trying to capture a lemur. Bounding through a darkened city park, a lemur managed to stay one step ahead of police officers that were armed with only a large towel. Body cam video. I'm so glad there's body cams these days. Body cam video shows the two officers attempting to nab the speedy little primate, which made a dash for freedom Tuesday in Springfield, Missouri. "We see the tail," one officer says with a chuckle as he tries to get closer. Not giving up easily, the lemur raises its distinctive black and white banded tail and dashes away. It sprints and weaves through a parking lot, down a sidewalk, across the grass, and around the trees. I feel like I was there. I mean, this is the best written story.
Thank you.
Eventually, the officer tosses the towel like a net, but the lemur slips out and darts away. "Dang it," you can hear the officer exclaim, as a few civilians help to try to corral the critter. Finally, they were able to grab the lemur, hold it still as his partner gently gets it snuggled up in a towel. The animal's owners had reported it missing, and they were later reunited with their lemur, but they won't be able to keep it. City ordinance have
I was going to say,
banned
you
wild
can't
animals
have
as
a lemur
pets.
as
Yep.
a pet.
But they have rehomed the lemur, and they have connected with the local wildlife rescue where it will be well cared for and loved, and I cannot wait to watch that video.
Okay. Yeah, and it is. It's super hilarious. And these guys are running around in this parking lot with a freaking little towel, and they're like trying to catch this thing, and they eventually catch it, and you would have thought they won the Super Bowl. It was amazing.
Love this.
But
Missouri lemur.
I have a great story about a lemur. Now that we talk about
Who
that,
has a story about a lemur?
I have a great story
You have
about a
been
lemur.
waiting
This is
your whole
amazing.
life for the appropriate moment to be able to tell this story.
I seeked out the lemur story just so I could tell my story. So let me tell you, my son, when he was maybe 6 years old, we took him to Panama City, go to the beach or whatever, and there's a almost like a zoo there, but it's just exotic animals. One of those exotic animals were lemurs, and so we go to this zoo. We're checking everything out, and they had some opportunities, and one of them was you could hold and take a picture with the lemur and all that, and play with the lemur and everything. And then the other one was another animal. I can't even remember what the other animal was, but I remember the price to do all the stuff with the lemur was cheaper. So my son wanted to do it with the other animal, and I'm like, "No, you're doing it with the lemur. It's cheaper."
Cheaped out. You got the lemur.
Hey, I ain't ashamed. I'm like, "No, you're getting the lemur."
I
One of the two.
want to swim with the dolphin, Daddy. No, you'll hold the friggin'
You'll hold
lemur
the
and
lemur.
like it.
That's
And
it.
you'll smile and look like you like it.
That's right. It's the lemur or nothing. So, okay, my son says, "Okay, I'll do the lemur," right? So we put him in the cage with the I'll never forget that. We put him in the cage with a lemur, and there's like 4 lemurs in there, and they give him one, and they're like, "Here, you can hold the lemur," and he's holding it in like a little sack, and I'm watching him. My wife's watching, and all of a sudden I see my son make this face, and it was a face I'd never seen before, but it was just for a few seconds, and then he says, "I want to get out now," and I said, "Okay," and so he gets out, right, and never was it mentioned again until about a year ago. And I'm sitting down and I'm talking to him, and it just clicked in my head. And I said, "You made a face when you were in that cage with that lemur." And he said, "It bit me." And I said, "What?" And he said, "It bit the hell out of me." And I'm like, "Really? Why didn't you tell me?" And he said, "Well, the lady said, don't try to pet the top of the head because it could bite you. And I thought I was going to get in trouble. So I didn't want to tell you." So the lemur, apparently lemurs are mean as hell. And the
Chapman family secret.
That's it.
Lemur bite.
Freaking lemur bit him.
Now
But
come
yeah. And I'm like, "You should have told us. You could have had rabies."
Yeah, I think a lemur bite, if it drew blood, is like something you probably want to.
How many years passed from you putting your kid in a cage with a lemur until you had this revelation conversation with him?
Oh, well, he's 21 now.
And how old was he?
He was 6.
Yeah. So did that
Remember to ask about that moment.
did that
just popped in
explain
my head
some
one
things
day.
about your son to you? Did the lemur bite make some other things explainable?
No. We just talked about that, and I'm like, "I knew something happened because your face changed." But yeah.
Like my
Get the
kids, I
lemur.
wouldn't be surprised to have to find out about an animal attack.
Yeah.
It would explain something.
And he did say, because you were too cheap. He did remember that I was too cheap to let him,
wanted to swim
whatever
with the
that other,
dolphins?
Get your own job, son.
Plus, you had to put them in the cage. Why can't the lemur come out of the cage?
Yeah, that was my favorite
That
part
was
of the
fun
story.
part. Was
You
they were
go
all
in
around
the
me.
cage with the lemurs?
You're like, I put my kid in the cage with the
I'm
lemur.
surprised you got the kid in there. I would have said, no way, Dad.
Hey, you're getting in with the lemur.
Let's go for ice cream. How about some cotton candy?
Very good.
Hey, ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through. Premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore, because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone support and supplement. It's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC. Hey y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glace, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something, and all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We've got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/real life. That's GOBBLE.com/real life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had.
It's your turn, Mike.
Okay, how come I can't follow order today?
Because it goes
'Cause I'm
this
throwing
way
you
instead
off.
of that way.
Yeah, it's
You're
muscle
used
memory.
to it going, what? I don't know, but it's your turn.
Oh, wait, because that was your story.
And then he
Yeah, and I was
But then it
commenting on
became
it.
your follow-up story.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm all screwed up. Sorry, folks. No lemur involved in this story.
Dang it.
You guys have probably, I think most of America has seen this by now, but are you familiar with Lauren Bobert, the junior
Yes.
congresswoman from the great state of Colorado?
Nope.
Ah, okay. Well, this is going to be new to you then. Republican junior representative Lauren Bobert was escorted out of a theater in Denver on Sunday for, quote, causing a disturbance during the performance And now we have the video footage, which I will happily post for you guys later. But employees at the Buell Theater asked two patrons to leave the evening performance of Beetlejuice after their behavior sparked multiple complaints from other attendees. An incident report says the pair were vaping, they were singing along, they were recording the shows on their phone, and they were groping each other during the performance.
How does anyone disrespect a presentation of Beetlejuice?
That would be...
That's the question.
That would be multiple ways. Vaping, singing along, recording it when you're not allowed to record it, and especially groping one another. So the official Real Life Real Crime Daily I-Team report is that the junior congresswoman needs to get a room. While the venue's report did not name Bobert or identify the person she was with, her campaign office confirmed that she was escorted from the show. Security footage from inside the theater shows security officials asking her and a man to leave the show and then escorting them out of the theater. It's not completely clear who the man was that was with Bobert, although we hear that they have broken up as of now. She also is only recently filed for divorce, so she's not even divorced from her husband yet. In the video, Bobert is seen initially refusing to leave her seat. One of the security guards threatened to call Denver City Police before she and the man agreed to get up and leave. Police were called and stayed in the theater lobby until she and her companion completely left the theater. When they were being escorted out, the pair told employees, quote, stuff like, "Do you know who I am? And I'm on the board. I will be contacting the mayor," etc. The video also shows Bobert giving the finger to security as she is being escorted out. Her campaign manager confirmed that the representative had been asked to leave, but he denied that she had been vaping. I've seen the video. She was vaping. He also confirmed that Bobert has used her phone to take Bobert had used her phone to take photos of the performance, but said that she didn't know that wasn't allowed. Anybody go to the theater?
I've actually never seen a live show, but
okay.
Regardless,
the first thing they tell you is not to film any of the performance. I mean, you know not to film any of the performance.
What
something?
I find interesting about this story is I don't care who you are. I don't care if you have any notoriety. Nothing annoys me more than when you're in, I've never been to a live show, but like in a movie theater and people are playing on their phone or they have their volume up. Like, we have social norms. Follow the rules, people. We all paid money to be here.
Okay, so think about this.
Me too.
You are in the U.S. House of Representatives. And by the way, you're newly in the U.S. House of Representatives. You're in this theater where a certain behavior is, if you're at a movie theater, certain behavior is expected. But if you're at a show
right, that's
like
what I'm
this,
saying.
it's a level above that. You're expected to be quiet. They're groping each other.
That I don't have a problem with.
Yeah, I don't.
His hand no,
is. I don't. My point is, don't interrupt.
I'm the prude on the show.
Yeah.
I do have a problem.
That's
with that.
probably more entertaining than Beetlejuice.
And I have a problem if you are a member of the United States Congress with you behaving that way in a theater. So this was a major embarrassment, and she has since apologized.
This is what's going to happen. It's going to come out that she's intoxicated. She's going to check herself into a treatment facility. There's going to be a whole explanation and cover up because she got busted.
You can now take off that belt and move freely around the cabin.
It's Mile High Crime time, and we got a good one for you today. And it's actually an update. We're bringing you an update from a previous Mile High Crime. Yeah. So you may remember some of this story, but the family of a 14-year-old girl who discovered her iPhone was taped to the back of a toilet seat on a recent flight from Charlotte, North Carolina to Boston said they believe it was put there to record her by a member of the crew. We told you all about that. And just to catch you up, during a September 2nd American Airlines flight, the girl was told by a male member of the crew to use the first-class bathroom. The crew member entered just before the 14-year-old, told her the seat was broken but not to worry about it, and then re-entered the bathroom after she left. her family has come out in a written statement, and they said after using the toilet, the girl realized that a largely obscured iPhone had been FXed to the back of the toilet seat, actually taped there, apparently to record her. She took a picture of this with her own cell phone.
Good for her.
Smart, good thinking girl. With her own phone before leaving the bathroom. The family says the events have left our daughter and the entire family shocked and disturbed. Law enforcement officers, as we told you, met the plane at the gate after it landed, and they escorted the flight attendant off the flight. State police later deferred to the FBI as the primary investigative agency because the episode happened in the air. So that's FBI jurisdiction. American Airlines did have a statement they released after the incident that basically said they take the matter very seriously and are fully cooperating with law enforcement in their investigation and put safety and security as their highest priorities. Paul Lyson, a lawyer representing the family, said they have not yet filed a lawsuit, which is interesting. You would think that would have been the first thing they would have done. And I guarantee you it would have been the first thing I would have done in this situation, because this is a serious,
well, they might just be
disgusting breach of
this is a big number.
Everything.
This is one so I think they haven't yet because they're doing a lot of research with lawyers trying to figure out a number they can stretch. This is a big number.
Yeah.
This isn't, here's $500,000. This is a big.
Oh, this is millions. And rightfully so. They need to pay. You know, I don't know. Look, when I think about these lawsuits and I think, you know, American Airlines didn't know this guy was going to do this, but you have a responsibility as a company. Unfortunately, you have a responsibility of the employees you represent.
The employee can't indemnify a company against their behavior. They are responsible.
Yeah.
And they will likely recover that video off of the cloud or whatever, and it's going to show him. He had to have had it already recording.
Right.
So it's going to show him walking out and walking back in to retrieve it. He's not going to be able to deny that.
Yeah. And the first time we reported this, I did not realize it was actually taped. He actually taped it.
What an idiot.
I assumed
Did he think
he just kind of like put it under, you know, a piece of toilet paper or something and tried to hide it. No, he had it taped to the back of the toilet seat.
And likely not the first time he's done this.
Yeah. Disgusting.
Immaterial to the crime here. I'm trying to think, if somebody put a camera on the back of my toilet, they're not going to get a very good show. I mean, you're scurrying up to the toilet.
People are into
Pants down
people
in
are
2
into
seconds,
freaky things. Remember Woody's last kinky crime?
Yeah. And she's 14.
What was Woody's last crime?
About the person pooping on the plate?
Yeah, but I'm just.
Maybe he's into that.
Weird. What would that film even? What would that even capture? The video.
And
Great question.
It's just weird.
Gonna rise to the level of child sexual.
No, that's
material.
Bad. That's bad.
Yeah.
Totally.
That was a male flight attendant, I assume.
Male flight attendant. Yes. Yes, male flight attendant. So that is your mile high crime for today.
Wow.
You can now take off that belt and move freely around the cabin.
All right.
I love that, her voice. It's very soothing.
Yeah.
Seductive yet soothing.
That's right. That's
is.
Tiffany. You know, they had a
borderline pornography.
They had a listener of ours actually hit me up and say that she was on a flight, and she said the first thing I thought of when the lady came up there and said you can now remove your seatbelt was Tiffany.
Yeah. Now I will forever think of that.
That's it. That's it.
All right. Well, they stole what?
They stole what? What did they steal?
You know,
Bayou Brandi.
Let me tell you and incriminate myself at the same time. For commonly
you stole?
Well, so when I went through this list, I was like, oh, yep.
You're going to turn yourself in at the end of the story?
I was a wild one when I was younger. 4 commonly stolen items that you may not realize. While theft is generally not a humorous topic, there have been instances where people have stolen unusual or peculiar items that might be considered funny in a lighthearted sense. Here are a few examples. Garden gnomes. Yep, done it.
Yeah. And I have actually heard that those are very highly
Yeah,
thieved
so
things.
garden gnomes are small decorative statues. Some are not so small, often found in people's gardens. Some individuals have developed a habit of stealing these gnomes as a prank or on their own for their own amusement. There have been cases where they have even stolen the gnomes and then returned them to their owners with photographs documenting their adventures.
Now that's crazy.
Yeah, I was never sober enough to think that far in advance,
Right.
but when
That's an idea
You
for the future.
swiped.
Yeah.
You seen a garden gnome and you were like, I have
always
to have
took it back. Always. But, some of the neighborhoods you'd go out drinking in uptown or downtown Dallas, you'd have to walk back through a neighborhood to get to your car. Yeah. And that cute little gnome was you just want to take it home with you. And then and then the next morning you're like, oh my God. And you take it back and you take like Krispy Kreme donuts or something and you're so sorry. And you just leave them on the porch. But this was, thank God, before the day of Ring doorbell cameras.
Right.
Yes. And now as an adult who enjoys a garden, I now understand how much they cost, and I'm very sorry to every person who I ever picked your gnome up. Even though it was like 12 hours and I returned it, I'm still sorry.
There you go.
Traffic signs. See, I don't want to incriminate myself on this one because I think it's actually illegal. Like, really?
it is.
Because
It
they're
is.
government property.
You're right.
So all I'm going to say is that hypothetically, there may have been other times where I was drinking and traffic signs ended up in my garage. Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe a stop sign or two?
I might be guilty with you
See?
on that one.
Or traffic cones.
Oh, yeah.
I have taken a cone.
See?
Yeah.
But why? What's our infatuation? And why are we not alone? Why are
I'm like,
other
I
people
may
doing
need
this?
a cone one day.
I might need the stop sign. I might need this.
And it was tipped over. So I figured it was legal.
Yeah, once they're tipped
broken.
over. Yeah, once they're tipped,
I love that rationale. There was a rationale.
it was down.
Yeah.
It was down.
It's out of
Broken.
service.
Yeah, I love that. Rubber ducks.
Rubber ducks.
Yeah, so what's
Really?
See, this one I'm out on. But in certain locations, they say rubber ducks have become a popular target for theft, that small bath toys are stolen from public places such as hotel bathrooms or fountains. What I thought of was the Jeep ducks. My husband drives a Jeep.
Yeah, I thought of
And
that
so
too. when you
I thought
said
of the
that.
Jeep ducks.
Yeah.
What do you mean
So they
Jeep
duck
duck?
somebody. If you have a Jeep and I go to Walmart and I see your Jeep, I have a stash of rubber duckies, I stick one like on your Jeep and you've been ducked.
It creates a sense of community, and usually you reserve it for like if you think someone's Jeep is cool, if they've because people put a lot of work into customizing their Jeep.
Yeah.
So what a lot of people do now is they take. It used to be just put a rubber. It was called You Got Ducked, and you put a rubber duck on a Jeep, and then a lot of people keep them on their dashboard to show how many they've gotten.
Yeah.
But now people will like brand it
card,
with their
yeah.
They'll put a card or they'll put their like social media handle on it. Tag me when you've been ducked. But I think it's just a part of the Jeep community.
Wow, Jeep
Yeah, it's a whole
culture.
thing.
Unfortunately, they don't have one of those for the Hummer community.
You should start one. They have one for
I
the new
know.
Broncos.
Do they really?
Yes, they put little figurine
we
Broncos.
need some H.
You know,
Some
I
Hummer-
don't.
some Hummer ducks.
I don't learn nearly as much on this show when Woody's here. I mean, he doesn't teach me any of this crap. That's I'm going to look for duckies on
There you go.
Jeeps now.
Yep.
Yes.
No
Or
idea.
when they're driving, look in the dashboard.
Dashboard.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
Wow.
I do. I have to order my husband ducks so he can duck people. Yeah. Now, shopping carts. Now, let me tell you this. When I was growing up, you ever look back at things your parents told you growing up that were illegal, but they really weren't, and they were just parenting tactics? Like, I was always told if you drove with your overhead light on in your car, you'd get arrested.
Yeah.
That's not true. Now we know that's not true, but we all heard that. I was always told that shopping carts physically could not be taken out of the parking lot of a store. Now that I look back, I realize that can't be true. There's no borders, but I was always told that. So I had to defy what I was told, and I have, at one time in my life, stole a shopping cart
You
and then
stole
again
a
returned it.
shopping cart.
I returned. If I ever killed
Well, you're a
someone, I
horrible
would-
thief. You
I
don't
am.
ever keep anything.
I would turn myself in the next day if I ever murdered someone.
Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting you hit on that because it's one of the few things I could see myself schmurdering someone over is I will not leave a shopping cart out in the parking lot.
Absolutely
I have
not.
to put it back
Yeah.
in the shop. And if I see somebody just leave their shopping cart,
Me too.
I will
Like I
go
shake.
up to them
Yep.
No.
and ask.
No.
Jen, it's so rude.
It
You
is.
can't-
No, I agree.
It's unbelievably rude.
you'll
How
actually
hard is
go
it?
up to them?
Sometimes
You might get
sometimes
shot
you'll
for that.
Sometimes you'll go through
What do
a
you tell
parking
them?
lot. I'll say, "Excuse me, I think you forgot about your cart. The thing is, the holder is right. The holder is right there." No, it's so rude.
It is.
No, I agree. I don't do it either.
Sometimes you'll go through a lot, and one of those things will just be on its own riding through the lot because somebody left it somewhere
Yeah.
that wasn't level ground and they thought it was going to be okay, and the thing just takes off. put your shopping cart back.
I agree. And you know what else?
What if
I
it's
will
a
say?
female?
The same thing.
No
I mean,
excuse.
this holds
Equal
for all
opportunity.
people.
Put your damn shopping
Put
cart
your
away.
shopping
But you would
cart
approach
back.
the female?
If it happens in front, like what I'm more likely to do is see a stray shopping cart and bring it back. Myself, even though it wasn't mine. But if in
I
the
agree.
moment,
I just consider
if
it lazy.
If the person is captured red-handed and they're, in my view, yes, I'm gonna
Okay,
say
listen to this.
politely
When
say
I
something.
very first got on TikTok, I made a TikTok, and I didn't mean any disrespect to anyone in Louisiana or to any moms, but I've lived in a couple different states because of the Army, and there is no state that leaves buggies out like Louisiana. The most buggies I've ever seen not returned. But you know what? I got a lot of backlash from that video because a lot of moms came on and said, if I have to choose between leaving my kids unattended after I've already put them in their car seat or returning a shopping
That's a great
cart,
point.
I'm leaving the cart there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
I
that
get
was a little
They
eye-opening.
get a pass.
Okay, then those mothers, I accept that. Those mothers should carry with them a little card that they put in the cart that explains,
Thank you for putting my
I'm
card
a mother
up.
with young kids, and I didn't want to take the risk of walking away from my kids in their seats in the car to bring the cart back. I hope you understand. That would be acceptable. But just leaving the cart there without doing anything, no. That's a no-no.
I didn't like. I look at it as just flat out lazy. I'm like, the day that I can't walk back to put my cart up, you need to put me out to pasture probably.
Same.
So, Jim, you probably did this. I did this many times. You ever participate in Bring Your Kid to Work Day at work?
I have done that.
Yeah.
My wife's done that several times.
Yeah, it's a great tradition. And the kids learn a little something, and you meet other people's kids while they're doing it, and it's a nice thing.
It is.
And so it was very natural for the subject of today's Dumb Criminals to want to do that. Mm-hmm. Take your kid to work day. Except if what you're planning is a robbery and your work is as a thief, you might want to skip bring your kid
abstain
to work day. But if you are a crook and you are planning a robbery and you are going to take your kid to work day, the one thing you absolutely can't do is forget that you've taken your kid and leave them behind at the scene of the crime.
Oh, my heavens. You are kidding.
Because if you do that, they're going to go to the store manager, tell them that they're the kid of the guy that just robbed the store. The police are going to get called, and then you're going to hear banjos on Real Life, Real Crime Daily because you are a dumb criminal.
That is a dumb criminal.
How pissed is the kid's mom going to be?
How pissed are you if you're the kid? Wait a minute. I thought Dad had a legit job. He's robbing a freaking pet store and leaving me behind?
Come on, let me teach you how to make some money.
Jesus, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. What a dumb criminal. And Bayou Brandi, did you enjoy yourself today?
I did. I'm always so appreciative when you guys ask me to come in and fill in. You'll have a great vibe going. I love how you guys just welcome me and my newbie rookie self, even though I have no idea what I'm doing.
You did
great. You did great.
And the audience can understand what you're saying, which is a major upgrade from the person you're replacing. And so we appreciate that. Actually, it would have been a good challenge to have you try to deliver the stories with like 6 marbles in your mouth and see how that would have gone over.
You are stirring the pot here.
I'm looking at suspension just directly in the eye right now.
Mike did try to impersonate Woody. It was actually funny. I got to give it to him on the last episode. He goes, "Mom, whatever, however you do it." It was pretty funny. Actually, I got to give him credit.
We miss you, Woody, but Bayou Brandi did great.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Well, look. Our rescue. Let's talk about that real quick. We've raised a ton of money, well over what our goal was originally. We're actually at I think $1,100 last time I looked.
I stopped looking.
Yeah,
because I don't see dollar signs. I see eggs.
Oh, that's right.
So well, I agreed to.
You got a lot of eggs coming to you.
What are you going to do with said eggs?
No. So I did a story about the egg challenge on TikTok because a bunch of people came out saying it was dangerous and these kids were being hurt and some of them were crying during it. And I did a story saying, are you freaking kidding me, people? And so then I got a hard time given to me by a bunch of folks. And I said, all right, you know what? We've got this very good cause that we've gotten involved in, and let's raise some money for it. If you want to crack an egg on my head, all you got to do is put some money up for this charity, and I'll let you crack an egg on my head, or we'll crack an egg on my head in your name. And so now,
how much per egg?
So now more and more they could choose. So there wasn't a minimum or a maximum kind of the amount of the donation wasn't set. So it's more the number of people. But we're now I agreed to a baker's dozen. We're now well over that. So I don't know.
When is the egg cracking happening?
Well, that's what we're going to work out when Woody gets back.
Sometime in the next 2 weeks. Probably not next week because Woody's just back next week. So probably the week after that.
Well, how about this? I'm a social worker by trade, and I do take issue with that trend on TikTok. But the difference is you're an adult. They're children. So for that purpose, I'll put 100 on it so I can crack some eggs on you too.
Oh.
Look at this. See, now I can't.
You're going to be clucking by the time
you're going to be just as violent as these other two idiots while they're hitting me.
But
I know Woody will.
I am not. I'm a social worker.
But it's $100 for a great cause, so I can't possibly say no.
Yeah.
I'll do one egg for $100. I'll be kind on you.
Deal.
Okay.
All right, there you heard it here first, and I'll record it, and we'll have it on Brandy's TikTok and
Mike's. I was Mike's first follower on
yes.
TikTok.
Yes,
I think you might be my only follower on TikTok.
And we do want to shout out real quick. Miss Brandy's got a podcast coming where we're actually going to be recording several episodes this week, but it's Trust But Verify, a true crime podcast.
Trust But Verify. Nice.
I'm just trying to get on y'all's level.
First episode dropping.
We had probably next week sometime.
Yep, I'm recording it Sunday.
Yeah, we'll probably drop it Thursday of that next week. So look for that. And, of course, we'll be posting that everywhere and a bunch of exciting stuff coming up with that. Thank you for coming on. We're going to link Bayou Brandi's TikTok to the description of this video.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Bayou Brandi.
All right. Until next time, I'm Jim Chapman.
Peace.
No, you were close. And I'm leaving that in there. That was great. You say your name first. And
Gotcha.
Until next time, I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Bayou Brandi.
And I'm Mike Agovino.
For Real Life, Real Crime Daily, peace.
Aglets.